What's going on, guys? This is Craig with Next Gen Car Guys. They're Mike.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel.
As you see, it's dark again, and it's kind of wet
and raining.
Yeah, it's sprinkling. It's sprinkling a little bit.
So, taking the computer back out of Craig's car.
So we're taking the computer back out. I got him doing that. I took the kick panel out, took the battery cable off. I'm making him do the hard stuff. I went and bought a soldering iron today. Man, I can't talk. So it's this one. It's a Hyper Tough. Yeah, don't flame me too bad. I mean, it was $10. We're only gonna use it. Hey, that trailer is short. I forgot. I hit my head again.
I'm gonna need a different size.
Again?
It's slipping on this one, so
it'd be like a 7.
Let's try a 7. Forgot this is that transitional crap on this car.
So anyway, as I was saying, don't flame me too bad. Yes, I know it's not the best brand in the world, but it was only $10. Okay, $10. And the main reason why we needed it is because it's got the really small tip on the end, and you know, on these capacitors, they're really small legs on them, and we needed a small tip. Are you okay?
Stupid car.
Anyway, we needed a small tip on the soldering iron to heat the solder up that's existing, and then pull the old capacitor out. And then on the one side that is broke, I think we're gonna have to maybe use some air to possibly blow the other part of the leg that broke off out. We're not 100% sure yet. There's the computer. Alright, so Mike wanted to show you some stuff.
Show you some stuff? Alright.
Yeah. Also, we got Brutal playing in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, I mean, we've watched most of his videos already, but it's just something to have in the background.
Alright,
so Mike wanted to show you pretty much how to take this apart. I think it was a T15 on the big ones.
Yeah, T15.
And then a T9 on the small one.
Yeah, so T15, and then, so you have 4 T15s here, 4 T15s there,
and then 2 T9s
and 2 T9s on the end. I think they were T9s, but let's double check that just to make sure.
I'm pretty sure that was T9s.
T10 is too big. Alright, where's my T9 right here?
It's somewhere in there.
What's that one? They're so small. That's a 9 there. Alright, so we got a T9
and a T15.
And a T15. So that's what you need to
take this
bust this case back apart. So
yes.
I'm gonna take it apart real quick and show you what's on the inside.
Not some very good stuff.
Right. Now you can keep that play.
By the way, guys, we went to that. Well, I don't know if we're gonna put that in the video because I mean there wasn't very many people there. But we was coming home from the car meet earlier, and I decided that I was gonna stop in front of Mike and do what he does to me and just dump the clutch. And either my tach is like way wrong in my car, or something is wrong with my car, period, which we already know the ECU is messed up with the capacitor. But Mike, what happened?
Shot flames.
So I dumped the clutch and the shift light come on, which is right at 5,500 RPM almost, more like 53, and it got kind of sideways, and then when I let out of it after it got a little sideways, because I mean I wasn't trying to like show off or anything, I was just trying to like, you know, spin some tires. I ain't done it in a while. And Mike said when I let off the throttle that 2 flames out of both tailpipes come out about like 2 feet long.
Yes.
So I mean, I've never seen my car shoot flames. I've seen Mike's car shoot flames because it's 2-step. And if you didn't watch my video on my channel about the behind the scenes, Mike's car shoots flames.
Alright, so here we go. Through there. Already got the 2 T9s out.
Yep, the 2 T9s is laying up there somewhere.
Yep. Spin it over. Of course, don't use the impact gun when you're putting this back together.
Yeah, don't, because you'll...
and if you do, just make sure you just barely snug it down. It doesn't have to be that tight.
No, that's just the case. Same thing with the screws holding in the board too. Yep. Don't tighten them down too much.
Crack the board, it's over. Alright,
so
here we are.
there's the computer, and this is
There's
the
the
capacitor
culprit.
that's bad. So that's what we found, what, a week ago?
Yeah, something like that.
So a week ago we found this capacitor that has a leg completely broken off of it, and it was also leaking, had some black fuzzy looking stuff under it. So from a few people that I've talked to, they say that this capacitor controls the 5-volt reference, which is the sensors like the ACT, the IAT, or yeah, intake air temp sensor, the MAF sensor, and a few other things.
Right.
So with that capacitor being bad, that means my car is not reading the engine coolant temp sensor and none of that stuff. So it doesn't know how to fuel the car.
Right.
So you can ask Mike, like when my car first started running like this, I lost fuel mileage like really bad.
All right, so guys, you're gonna have 4. You'll have screw on each corner, of course, and you'll have 2 kind of one in the middle, and then run right here by your port,
J3 port.
So we'll just pop these out real quick. And like I said, make sure when you put it back together, you don't over tighten this because you don't want to crack your board.
Yeah, it is. You're trying to see my another computer.
Yep.
Don't do what we do. We are trained dummies. If you want to put it that way. We're gonna put a disclaimer in the beginning of this video. Just don't do what we do. We are dumb.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
96% of the time.
I was gonna say 93, but that works too.
I like 96 because when we're not dumb, it's usually when we're asleep.
That's a lie.
All right, here we go.
All right, so there's the board completely out of the case.
All right, and then of course I think we should, of course I'll put the other video up first, more than likely, but I'll go ahead and show it again. So this computer has a manufacturer to rebuild date. Here's your remin sticker, 02/25/14. And if you look here, there's one here.
There's a few spots that's already
There's a few spots that's been redone.
So anyway, like I said, guys, please, I mean, don't flame us too hard. This is a cheap soldering iron, but it had the small tip on it.
$10.
And it was $10. All right, and it come with a stand, so that means you don't have to burn anything when you set it down. And it also come with, what is this, rosin core?
Mm-hmm. If you look,
so this is what
this
we needed.
one's never been replaced.
What, that capacitor?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, I mean, it has been in there 30 years now, so.
Yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do now is fire the old soldering iron up.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never done this before on an ECU, so I'm really nervous about this.
Yeah. So like I was telling him, it's not gonna hurt it any unless you just.
Mike has done this a couple of times when he worked at auto shop.
I've fixed a few ECUs.
So he kind of knows what he's doing. I don't. I mean, I know how to like solder little stuff like wires. He got hydraulics, but I've never done this before. Like I said, he has, so he's got a little more experience in it than I do.
It's gonna take a minute to warm up.
So anyway, we'll check back in with you guys after we start getting this thing heated up and start melting the solder.
See that? That was quick.
Hey, don't touch that.
It's not hot yet. I mean, it's warm.
It might be like.
See, don't do that.
Don't, yeah.
It's hot now.
Don't do what we do. Basically, is what we're saying.
I mean, if you do what we do, son of a. If you do what we do.
Wrap the cord. Do it like the you thing.
Yeah. If you're gonna do what we do, you better be tough. That's all I gotta say.
Well, somebody decided today that they was gonna fix some things in the house, and the screw caught his leg.
Yeah. We'll show it on YouTube. Sure, why not?
I mean, like a screw, literally just ouch. So I can feel his pain. I've had that happen to me before.
And I messed up a good pair of pants.
And it ripped his pants. I mean, really, guys?
I was more upset about the pants than I was my leg.
All right, so like I said, we're gonna let this thing get warm, and then we'll start melting some solder.
See what happens.
Maybe the capacitor comes out. Like I said, the part that I'm more worried about is I've had people tell me that the brown tracer that goes to the actual, like, what would it be called? The tracer for the... Anyway, it's a brown tracer on the motherboard, pretty much. And if you rip that up, then you might as well buy another computer. So, Uncle Funky, I know you're watching this. If this don't work, I need that Terminator X, man. I mean, come on. But anyway, we'll bring you guys back here in a minute. Alright guys, so we finally got it. The old capacitor out. We had to hook Mike's soldering iron up. You see it don't have a big tip, or don't have a small tip like the one I bought. But there's the old capacitor. Right there, you can see one leg's completely gone off of it. So, I always forget about that light. I'm glad you... This way, he's the technical guy and I'm not. Okay, so right now Mike's got a Q-tip and some 70% rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. And you just soak the end of the Q-tip down with some rubbing alcohol. And you do what he's doing right there, which is cleaning the spots where the capacitor goes. Making sure it's got a nice, clean connection when you solder the new one in. And see if I can do this without burning myself and without spilling your drink.
So this has actually got a...
It's got like a rubberized coating on it.
Yeah.
So
it protects it. So you got to get past that coating. That way you get a good, solid solder when you go back together with it.
So while Mike's doing that, I'll show you this. This is the, well, I don't know if it's going to focus that great. It probably won't, but this is the new capacitor that we got. Shout out to a buddy of mine that's local. He had a few of these. They're 47 UF 16 volts. And like we explained in the last video, you can actually upgrade the voltage part of it, but you have to stay in the same temperature range. So they sell these on Amazon. You can get them in like bulk, pretty much. You can get like 10 or 20 or 50 of them at a time or more if you wanted them. But you can also go up to like a 25 or a 35 and 45 volt. And that would
a 25 or a 35.
25 or 35. That's what it was.
The other one's a 63, but I think you, according to what I was reading, you can go all the way up to 85.
So this is the one
that, you have two 16 volts and a 63 volt on this computer.
So this one, well, there's a difference too. So this one is a 10 UF. I know you can't really see it, but it's there. It's 10 UF, 16 volt, or is it MF? I think it's MF. Anyway, sorry guys, like I said, I mean, we don't really mess with capacitors every day, so we don't really know exactly what we're talking about. But that one is only a 16 volt, which if mine was bad, I could get away with that one until I got some 63 volt ones. But I think we're only going to try to replace this one and see what it does.
That's so far, that's the only one that I see. You can tell, you know, of course you can see this one's been replaced. At one time you go back here and look at your solder joints. That one there doesn't look like it's been replaced, but let's see, is it this one? This one here has. So normally they'll have a blue
capacitor for replacement.
Color is factory, blue is factory. So but brown is usually the aftermarket capacitor.
So anyway, we got the old one out. We got a couple of new ones. Of course, like I said, I'm probably only gonna do this one because the other two look like they're fine. Now, if I run into issues later on down the road, then I know which ones to look for since we're replacing this one.
I'll bring the camera in real quick. All right, so this is really where you want to be careful at. All right, and you see right here, this one here is kind of by itself, but this one here, see that?
Tracer.
It's got a tracer. All right, anywhere there's a solder joint near a tracer, you want to be careful with that, because if you pull this away from here and this doesn't make connection, then you're just working against yourself.
Yep. You might as well buy another computer at that point. That's what I was talking about earlier, and that's the part that was kind of making me the most nervous because I don't have the money to buy another computer right now.
If you look at your capacitors, these do have polarity. If you look real close here, I don't know if it'll focus, but there's a stripe. All right, it's all brown, and then you have a stripe. If you look, all the stripes are facing back this way.
So the port is back here. Basically, yep. Look at this is like the front of the car where the engine's at. It's the driver's side. The stripes point towards the driver's side.
Yep. So that you just want to make sure you put this back at like it came out. So.
And if you don't, because it'll cause problems, and you'll be chasing problems forever.
So what we're gonna do now is try to get this back in here and then
let it cool and then
see what
put
happens.
it back in the case, plug it back in the car. And guys, please
hope that it works.
Cross your fingers, dot your I's, cross your T's. I don't care what you guys to do. Just please let this work. Because like I said, I don't really have money to buy another one. That's the reason why we decided to try to repair it on our own. But
I think we'll be good. Like I said, if not, we're not hurting it any by fixing it. It was an obvious issue. So.
And like I said earlier in the video, Mike has done this a couple of times. This is my first time ever doing it, which I'm not really doing it. I'm just watching. I'm trying to learn. And that's another thing, guys. You're never too old to learn something.
Oh yeah, I learn every day.
My grandpa is 70 something years old, and he learns stuff from me all the time. Like, just
usually it's how to be a dummy.
Well, not necessarily. There's some times where, you know, I'll be at his house and he's like, hey, you're good on Google, you type this in and see if you can find something. And I'm like, okay. Or research this and see if you can find something on it. So I mean,
right.
And that's kind of like what I like doing. Mike probably thinks I'm a nerd. It might cause me a nerd sometimes, because
I enjoy doing some research now.
I get on the Mustang forums like all the time, and I would research, just like when this first started. Like when I first got tired of like my car running like it does, I started doing research on like different things that could cause it. And of course, Mike tried to tell me it was in the computer, but it didn't listen because I'm crazy. Anyway, so I was doing research on that stuff and trying to figure out why I have an intermittent misfire. And stuff like that. I mean, that's what I do. I get on the forums and I research, and I like using the forums from like the mid 2000s, like 06, 07 ish, because there was a lot of guys on the forums that were really smart with these cars back then. And
yep, so sometimes you gotta pull up the old stuff to find what's going on and what you got now. Because you gotta think, your car's what, 30 years old?
Yep.
So my car's 38. They've been around a minute.
And so I know some of you guys that watch us are older than me. You might be close to the same age as Mike or even older, but I'm gonna make you guys feel old real quick. So my car is 30 years old. It's a 91. So it was made 8 years before I was even born. So I was born the same year that the New Edge body style first came out, which is 99. And
hey, Gum, you're making me feel old. Hush.
Mike was the first year of the fuel injection Fox.
86.
Sequential fuel injection Fox, the 86 4i. And that's the reason why he's kind of partial to the 4i's, because he was born in 86. But anyway, so
now we're just going to clean this up a little bit more. Get the new capacitor in. Put it on there with some fresh solder. And we're going to give it a shot, guys, and see what happens.
What's that on the TV back there? Oh, hey, that's Gearhead 704's car. And that's us at Ford Takeover.
So, alright guys, we'll bring you back here just a little bit and show you what we got.
Please hope this works.
We got everything in. It's resoldered, ready to go. Here is our... There's one there. There's the solder joint there. So we've got a good connection. New capacitors in. The other ones look good. So,
Hope it runs.
it's got to run better than it did. So we're going to put this back in the car and see what happens.
Hopefully it runs better than it did.
So, bring you back here in just a minute. We got Shelby out here helping us now. What's up, Shelby? Alright, so we got the computer back in Craig's car, and it runs. So we won't really know anything until he drives it down the road. So, I guess we're going to watch him try to take it on its maiden voyage since the computer repair real quick. So, let's see what happens. over. You know Craig can't drive. Alright. Well, any difference yet? You won't know anything until you drive it, I'm sure. So. Huh? Right? Alright. Chevy likes Mustangs. See if we can hear him coming back. Alright guys, Craig made it back. What's the verdict?
I don't misfire no more at higher RPM.
And it does seem like the AFRs are staying in a little better range than they were too.
Until it loads up.
So, time will tell. It usually takes about 3 drives, what they call hot drives on a computer, to finally learn everything again. We did have the battery disconnected and the computer out of the car, so they tend to need to take a little bit of time to, of course, relearn everything, fuel curves and stuff. But it's definitely better. It sounded better.
It didn't feel any faster. Like, I'm serious, like it didn't feel any different. I mean,
well, you're used to driving it too, so.
Yeah, but I'm saying like with the 5-volt reference, you would think it'd be like not giving it timing.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because I mean, all it's doing is like it basically puts it in limp mode.
Yeah. Well, either way, what we're gonna do, guys, is hopefully this took care of those issues. The real big issue was the cold start problems. So we'll know maybe in the morning if it took care of that. Hopefully, that's taken care of too. Anyway, we'd like to say thanks to everybody who's watching our videos. I think we checked it a little while ago. We're up to, what was it, 966 subs, something like that, man. Guys, that's awesome. We appreciate the love that everybody's sending us and the support. Yeah, we'll definitely do an update video after he's had a little bit of time to drive the car around and see how it does. Anyway, I'm Mike.
Craig.
That's Craig.